Oh, pardon me. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces, where we talk about events jumped up and got in the way. Oh, hey, Johnny. How's it going? Johnny Arsenal, Over Demand of Merchandise does that. A whole bunch of newcomers initiated during COVID-19. This is true. And the thing is that everybody's talking about it. In fact, I watched an episode today about someone talking about it. But you all know I've actually mentioned it several times and I wanted to talk about this. So I'm just talking about it later than most, but it's given me the opportunity to think about it for a while because I've been meaning to talk about this topic for quite some time. But before I start, I want to say I was really looking forward to tonight and looking forward to doing this episode. We have built a really nice community and it's growing and it's healthy and we're doing some really cool things with these episodes. And I'm just really proud of all of you. I really am because, a community takes people and every single one of us is important in this group. And I really appreciate you supporting my efforts on this channel. I really do. So having said that, um, when we talk about, watch prices, obviously there are a lot of factors. It's a market, business and sales and all of that other good stuff. Um, it's obviously about trying to make money, but people want to maximize that. But then they also, uh, um, some companies look at the longer view and the bigger footprint and what they're trying to say with their branding and the like. So, for example, uh, you're never going to see, wristwatch check. I'm wearing a very, very nice Junghans um, chronoscope with the Valjoux 7750 in it, day date. Speaks German. The date's in German. And my favorite local watch dealer, unfortunately, is going out of business. But as a result, I was able to pick up the Milanese bracelet for this watch for half price. In fact, I was going to show you this. I bought this on a complete whim. And when you see it, you'll know Alex bought this on a complete whim because it's the kind of watch you'd wear once in a while, mostly for novelty effect. But it's just such a cool piece. And at 30% off, I couldn't resist. And that is this Messerschmitt Pilot watch. It has all of the German spec stuff on the back about the type of instrument, because back in the old timey days, pilots would wear something this humongous, right? Pilots would wear something this humongous back in the day because in a dark cockpit in uncertain angles and all, a humongous watch with lots of lume can work wonders. And I got this for less than $500. So, I mean, who could resist this? Even if I only wear it a couple of times a year, I have a new desk clock, that's for sure. And it's fun. I'm really glad that I went ahead and bought it. I don't know if I'd have bought it for the. I mean, basically he's had it sitting in his window as eye candy, as it were, and so I figured, what the heck? Let me buy it and use it for the exact same purpose. So now I keep it in front of my TV set as like a analog clock because I've got other clocks around, but the only one in direct eye side of the TV set is a digital. So now I have this right, and it's right below the edge of the TV, so you can't. It doesn't block anything, and it's a great little desk clock. It's humongoid, and when you put it on, I wore it a couple of days ago. I mean, look at that! Look at that! Is that not? I can't wait to do the episode on this watch. I'm gonna have fun doing the episode on this watch. So yeah, and as a result, I also bought an Aristo Flieger with no name on the face. So it's a blank Flieger. I'm going to do an episode on that as well. I recently did one on a Laco, but it says Laco on the front, and there's nothing wrong with branding. But when it comes to Fliegers, because they're so generic, companies like Aristo, is a German company, just make them without the logo because people are buying it because it's a Flieger 90% of the time, not because of whatever company makes it, unless you're, in IWC territory. Although there are great buys in Laco and Stova and some of the others. But Aristo, well, actually, others will do it as well. But I thought, you know what? Let me get a blank Flieger. If for the show, if for nothing else, I always rationalize these impulse buys by saying I need a watch for the show. I sold the Laco already to my bartender friend who, well, he owns the place, but yeah, he is the bartender there as well, or one of. And I actually thought it would be nice to have a nice Flieger. And so I had this opportunity. I'm actually worried I might buy some more watches before he closes because he's going to keep marking stuff down as he gets closer to sellout. And I might wind up getting like an Ingersoll or something like that, which is, they're more fashion watches for watch collectors. I would call that kind of a watch. The quality's decent, and they do stuff like, double balance wheels and the like, usually Chinese movements, but at least well finished. And Ingersoll, they used to be a bigger name, and like I said, they're now I call them a fashion brand. They're fossil for watch collectors. That's where I would put a company like Ingersoll. I wouldn't turn my nose up at them. I may wind up owning one if I can get one at a good price. But I wouldn't put it on the level of Longuet, you know. But then again, I wouldn't put Junghans on the level with Longuet, which also brings me back to my point because I think this price change in the industry, these prices in the industry, some are saying, well, they were mistimed because Rolex used prices are coming down. They're coming down, but retail is being looked at as the hard floor. Maybe some pieces will drop below. You get an unpopular OP without box and papers or something like that, a 36 millimeter or something. But if it's not, IW, not IWC, JLC, Jaeger-LeCoultre just recently upped their prices 40%. Someone went into detail on it, chapter and verse. I won't go into detail that I won't steal their thunder, but I will bring it up. They're not raising their prices because of inflation or because of materials cost or labor cost. They're bringing it up because they want to reposition themselves within the marketplace. They want to do a Grey Goose. They want to price themselves so high that people will think of them as, they are luxury quality. But ironically, their prices did not keep pace with the industry, and they're correcting. In my opinion, they're correcting a little aggressively. They could have done this in 10% increments over the next 4 years or something like that, and still achieved their goal. But I think they were also seeing all of these companies making all of this money, and they're making better watches, and it probably stuck in their craw a little bit. And they figured they would weather the short-term buffering to get the long-term benefit of being more exclusive, more expensive, which favors the brand, maybe not the bottom line, but you're also playing for the long game, right? Let's look. Oh, really nice. Hey, Robert, how's it going, my friend? 50 millimeters. I'm going to have to get the measuring calipers, but I'll do the episode and I'll send a personal message, my friend. It's always nice to see friends in the feed because that means that, because normally people say with a channel, oh, all your family and friends are listening. No, that's not what happens. We've got like half a dozen people on right now at this moment, and on a normal day, they're not people I mean, they're friends of mine through the channel, but they're not normally personal friends, so it's always really fun to see a friend jump in and, say hello. Hannes, hey, Hannes. Hannes is a nice guy. He's a new friend, but he lives in this town, so I see him on occasion and we chat once in a while. Good evening. You can eat from that huge watch. It is a comically huge watch. Wait a second. I don't I can't go running around and grab, but I do have it's a trade show, giveaway. It's a ruler made from a circuit board and the company showing their various, solder pad sizes, blah, blah, blah. But there is a millimeter scale on this. Let's take a quick look see. This thing is 63 mil. No, I'm sorry. Line it up properly. 65 millimeters. This watch is roughly 65 millimeters stem to stern. And yeah, here, let's hold it up just so you can see a little bit. No, it's 65. It's 6.5 millimeters across. I mean, 6.5 centimeters across. It's not that thick. It's about 12 millimeters thick. And lug to lug, it is 75 millimeters. It's a wall clock that you can wear on your wrist. The strap is awesome. It's supple, it's padded, it's a really high quality strap. But then that makes a lot of sense because this would be a bear to wear if the strap wasn't, of a nice quality and looking good and working with the watch. And it's in German it says Beobachtungsuhr, which means literally like observation watch, observer's watch. Edelstahl, stainless steel. Um, it's got a Ronda inside, it says, but it's a mechanical, so I guess it's not the Ronda Swiss company, and it's a Messerschmitt, 5 atmospheres, water, but it's obviously not a diver, it's a Flieger. Yuck, 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 yuck. And the only water you're going to encounter is while you're bobbing in your life vest, waiting for the helicopter to come get you. Hopefully. Let's see. Michael Sable, how's it going? Most luxury brands are overpriced, but people pay anyway. Well, because see, and I wanted to bring that point up too. I'm glad you brought it up. Half of luxury is conspicuous consumption. That's why, for example, I like having my Cartier on a rubber. That's why I like having my Globemaster on rubber. I like having my Nomos on a NATO strap. You know, it it democratizes the watch to a great degree. It's then more about the watch and not about the luxury. I'm not that's the kind of collector I am. That's why I don't worry about residuals. As long as I get most of my money back when I'm selling a watch, if I can get 70 to 80 cents on the dollar, I'm a happy man selling my watches. Um, and I don't like a watch that calls too much attention to itself. I do believe there is such a thing as wearing too much watch, and sadly in the modern world, if you're wearing too much watch in the wrong circumstances, you can have too little hand. Um, but that's what I meant about these watch prices changing. The watch prices aren't changing for companies like Junghans and Mito and Oris and Hamilton or even Longines. Omega's creeping up. You see, you can almost see a line now being drawn through the brands, right? Rolex was the first to do the jump. They started pricing the Rolexes high and offering us Tudor alternatives at reasonable price points. So boom, there's the line being drawn. So now everybody's scrambling to go above that line. One of the direct examples given about in the podcast about and it was someone else's, not my idea. I'm not going to take but was the whole aspect of JLC consider themselves better than Tudor, and they are. So they should be priced higher, and they should be. But like I said, they could have done it in a more harmonious fashion. Um, one that's more palatable, you know? And you're seeing it across the board. Companies that consider themselves luxury brands, their prices are going up. Companies that consider themselves mainstream, I guess you would say, mainstream luxury, because they're still luxury. Anything well, today, anything that costs more than a smartwatch, is luxury because you don't need a watch to tell time. Um, so you're wearing it as a luxury, which is a big debate Adrian had about that very aspect. But if you're dropping $3,000 to $5,000 on an Oris or a Mito or a Hamilton or a Longines, those are luxury watches. I mean, we will have to agree to disagree if you don't think so. But those are luxury. I mean, a $3,000 watch is a luxury watch. However, the high end of the luxury spectrum, as it were, I believe is maneuvering upwards because they can. They'll get the money. They want to be more exclusive. They want to be more exclusive, which is why I mean, well, Rolex buying Bucherer is a multi-layered onion, or probably, uh, yeah, there are other things that are layered that are less palatable than onions. Um, but it's not a in the there are some unhealthy things happening in this industry, and, I think that the upward migration of the luxury watch spectrum it just is highlighting the income disparity that is getting wider in the world. Um, the high end is not for people like you and me. I mean, I have a reasonably large collection, but I live in a one-bedroom apartment. I just spend all of my available money on watches and I waste the rest. Um, I'm not the person that they're marketing to. I'm not the person they want to buy their watches. They don't want me to buy their watches. They don't want to see Mr. Pedestrian guy wearing a Globemaster in the local bar. That's too they would think that's too much watch for the bar. Why you know, they want you to spend that money at the very high end. I mean, ironically, I picked up this Globemaster on sale. I picked it up at 30% off, but I bought it new, from a local dealer. I paid 5 and a half for it, which meant this was retailing around 8 and a half, right? Uh, Today, it's probably retailing for 9 and change. You could I bought a Speedmaster in the last few years at retail for around 4 and change, 5, and now you can't touch them for less than 6, 7. The and at the very high end, yeah, the prices are going even higher. And even though the gray market is stabilizing for the mainstream, as it were, um, they're still above retail. These are used products that still cost more than they do new, unless it's a Ferrari and you've been on the waiting list for 5 years and the next guy's willing to pay to jump the list. You can't buy anything that sells for more used, unless you're buying stocks and the price goes up, or or some other speculative, highly volatile item like concert tickets or something like that. But speculation is a dirty business. Flipping, scalping is a dirty business anyway. Let's see. Johnny, what's the movement inside the big one? It's mechanical. I don't know what kind it is. I'm not sure if it's a hand whine or not. I don't think it is. I don't hear like a rotor going. Um, I do hear a little bit of mechanical motion, which is why I don't want to shake it too much. There might be something in there. I don't know what's in there. And it's so humongous, I don't have a tool that can fit into the lugs. So I'm gonna have to order something online or improvise a tool or take it to my watchmaker friend and hope that they can open it for me. Or maybe I'll just look up the movement, by the model number and, use a stock photo for that. But I wouldn't mind seeing the movement myself with my own eyes. But it is a cute I mean, The average person would go like, "What the heck? Why did you waste your money on something like this?" But I mean, come on, look at it. If you're a watch person, this is just yeah, it's a you could use it as a bedside clock. It's got loom, it'll last the night. And it is legible from across the room. I've tried. So yeah, worst case scenario, I just bought an interesting looking desk clock, but I did wear it on the wrist, and it's fun. It is fun. I'll give you that. All right, we're almost at the half hour. Just checking the time. Um, ooh, we're doing so well. Got to scroll back up and catch the top of the comments. All right. Price of consumer goods have all risen. Watches had to follow. Yes, but I mean, a lot of them are raising prices above inflation, even of the high end luxury. Yeah, I do think that it's a repositioning. That's why I don't think I think some of it obviously is. I mean, even Junghans raised their prices on their pieces, but they didn't raise them in a comical fashion. Uh, I do. I think it's the high end of the luxury market trying to distance themselves from the rest of it because I mean, people one of the reasons people buy a Richard Mille is its conspicuous consumption. Anybody's gonna buy something that ugly that has the money to spend on it. And there are people who don't have a place to live. But if you've got the money, there's nothing against buying a big ugly watch. Um, because it's conspicuous consumption. That's why people put gold wrap on a Mercedes or something. It's comical to maintain, but then they don't have to maintain it. But it's conspicuous consumption. And so I think that's what the higher end, like that's what JLC wants people to do, right? I mean, I've got a Polaris and I also bought this at discount. I keep my eyes open. I'm a shopper. I paid four and change for this. I think I paid 4,600 for this. This thing retails with the brown but ugly brown leather strap. That's why I changed it to this really nice blue alligator that I think matches it way better. If you like brown, I apologize. I personally do not like. See, I shouldn't have said but ugly. I personally do not like the brown leather strap that JLC sells the Polaris on. If you can't get it with the metal bracelet, and I'm kicking myself now because it took me forever to get up the gumption to pay the 1,500 for the bracelet and they raised the price to 2,200 because they just arbitrarily raised all their prices, including parts. So I'm glad I went through the trouble to get a good strap for this watch because I'm never going to buy the metal bracelet. But here I have this JLC Polaris. Um, JLC would rather that someone bought it at retail, ate and change, and then wore it to their posh place, and people could go, "Oh, ooh, you have a JLC code." And then if they mispronounce it, he gets an opportunity to sound snobbish and correct them on their pronunciation. So I personally think I'm very lucky because I picked up a lot of nice pieces that I can't get at this price anymore. And I feel so sorry for the people who will never have the opportunity to buy some of these pieces because they have been priced out of the average person's reach, out of my reach. I couldn't buy half of these pieces. I wouldn't be able to buy at their current retail value. It's sad in some ways. It really is. And so I don't know what to say about it except I see it's happening and it bothers the hell out of me. And I wanted to get your opinion. Let's see. L Train, how's it going? Bravo Delta, how's it going? Johnny, homeless people risen by 44% this year. Definitely a class separation on the go. No middle class. Well, we can go into that, but I don't like to talk about politics. Um, yeah, watches for the most part have no politics, no race, no religion, no real ideology outside of just whose is the better brand and who makes the better watch and who has the better presentation. And I'm cool with that. But unfortunately, money is also a classist issue. And that aspect of reality has started to muscle its way into the luxury watch marketplace. And it's like cool cars. If you're a car collector, you love cars, but cars are even if you could get a free garage, buy something that's really collectible and interesting, and you're starting in the 5 to 6 figures to get something that starts to become interesting and collectible. Like, you could like, today, I was talking to a person because I like to point out how it's in the big case. The moon swatch is the 914, and the, Blancpain swatch is the 924, because the 914 is the Volkswagen Porsche, has a Volkswagen body and a a Porsche body and a Volkswagen engine, and the 924 is a Porsche body and an Audi engine. And so it's I think it's an apt metaphor. And today you could buy, in Germany, a good condition used 944 will run you, give or take, 30,000 bucks. Not bad for a car people originally said wasn't a Porsche. So that's another reason I think, at least get a couple of the moon swatches or one of the Blanc Pans eventually, because if only, for the novelty collector's value. I mean, I don't believe they'll ever become $100,000 watches, but they'll always retain a charm in the marketplace. So let's see. In Montreal. Yeah, sadly. So, I just wanted to rant a little bit about, prices. If, there's not a lot going on with all of you, I mean, we could, just close it on the half hour, but if there are any other questions, we can, keep rolling. But you know me, as soon as the conversation starts lagging, I like to get off because I'm not one of those people to be on a live stream and just, like, look for something to keep it going. I'd rather keep it fresh until, it's time to do it again. So then it looks like, we'll be picking it up next week. You all take care. Love you. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next Sunday. And I'll find something that, I mean, watch prices are something to talk about, but I'll find something a little bit more interesting to chat about by next week, I promise. And we'll do a couple of pre-records with some of the really dumb, I mean, like one of the dumbest watches I've ever seen from the cheap, for the cheap watch choices segment. Got, some interesting pieces, and one surprisingly nice cheap watch that I picked up recently too, so we'll do a double tap. We'll have, a really crappy cheap watch and then a really nice cheap watch, and some people may disagree on either of the evaluations. It'll be fun to see. So, take care, everybody, and have a great week.